6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. What we do here is go back.
Hello. How's everyone doing today? It is Steven Jensen here once again with Jessi Davin. Hope that the video looks good. Hope the audio sounds good. If there's any audio issues or anything like that, let us know in the chat. I will do my best to fix that. Don't know what we're going to talk about today. Like it says in the description, just kind of take some questions and talk about wrestling and whatever y'all really want to talk about. But before we get started, Jessi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good in my war room. Like Mr. Goodell, I am tired and sleepy, as was seen clearly last night if you watched the draft after dark. I'm doing good. Yesterday was super rainy here, super stormy, was super scary. I didn't get on my computer much because I don't know, I'm weird. Like just living in Florida, like my computer used to get struck by lightning all the time living in Orlando. So I get super paranoid about being on the computer when there's like a lightning storm, even though it's a laptop. So didn't get on the computer much. So anyone on OnlyFans, apologies if I was a little bit sporadic yesterday in my messaging. I plan on getting on there after this, hopping on there, answering all my DMs on there. I've got like 26. So that'll be fun. But other than that, was a fun night. Um, it was a good day, doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Pretty
Yay.
pretty slow day. It's not. It's crazy because like for those of you who follow mixed martial arts, UFC just like officially announced yesterday that they're going to be running. Well, people have known about the show that they're going to be running May 9th, which is UFC 249, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight championship. But what we didn't know is that they're also going to run a show that following Wednesday on. It's going to be Wednesday, and then also that following Saturday. So it's within 8 days. The UFC is planning on running 3 shows. Second week of March or of May. It'll be really interesting to see how that works out. But outside of that, there just hasn't been a whole lot going on. Been doing a lot of video editing, which is always great for MMA on Point, which is what I do. But outside of that, like just kind of following the draft, little pro wrestling here and there. I thought AEW was pretty good, but
I liked it.
did we already talk about that though?
I think we did on Thursday, right?
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. This quarantine has me all whack. Like, I'm like, what day is it? What have we discussed? What happens? Like, for real, I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. Like, there's no
Yeah.
schedule, other than like wrestling and like the draft. Like, I knew what day it was because it was draft day. Like, that's literally why. Because like, oh yeah, there's like SmackDown tonight. What?
Yeah. I've been doing that with throughout the quarantine, especially where like Better Call Saul. Like I've been like that's been
Right.
on Mondays, which so like there's been an hour every Monday during when that's been going on that I just really haven't been paying attention to Raw because like Better Call Saul is just in my opinion it's been so good that I'm like all right I'm just paying attention to this. I'll catch up on wrestling afterwards. But like there's Better Call Saul. There's Dark Side of the Ring. That's still going on. I'm really into that show.
Yeah, that's very well done.
Yeah, yeah, really, really great. So I've been looking forward to that kind of stuff way more than like the actual wrestling. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's been strange, but I mean, I'm interested to see in the chat what people like. What do y'all like? Do y'all have any thoughts on like SmackDown last night? Because I didn't watch a whole lot of it. Uh, AEW or anything else. Me and Jesse talked a little bit before this about like the Triple H Vince McMahon promo thing at the end, which was strange, but people seem to like for the most.
People seem to love it. I think what I loved about it was like the self-awareness kind of aspect of Vince McMahon's spiel. I felt like it was a lot more self-aware than what is typical of being seen in WWE, especially by Vince McMahon, like kind of like those self-ribs. It was like,
Mhm.
okay, I appreciate Vince McMahon kind of not being so serious. Like that's kind of the Vince McMahon that, we loved or I loved. And I don't know, why was he there? You are like 700 years old, dude. Like you are at the highest risk. Like it's like Vince
Yeah,
McMahon, you need to be careful, dude, because you are a huge part of the wrestling world. And as much as people want to like shit all over you and what you do, I'm echoing. Like,
I'll try to fix that.
much as he like,
Yeah, for sure. And let me know if you can't hear me or you can't hear Jesse. I'm trying to fix the audio issues as we go. So, and there's a little bit of a lag between what you're seeing and what is like actually live. There's like probably 30 seconds or so. So I'm gonna try to keep my eyes on the chat just to get feedback on that. Um, but yeah, I Vince McMahon's like at the highest risk of like anybody. I'm totally with you on that. I don't really know. I don't know. The man's like he's so crazy and stubborn though. The audio cut out Jesse. Hear nothing from Jesse. Okay, I can fix that. All right. So I know for sure though they're gonna hear you now.
okay.
I'll keep playing around with it. Hopefully the echo goes away. There's other things I can do to try to fix that.
Am I
Um,
here? Are you there? Can you hear me? Shout out to 10 Years. Favorite band. No one can hear me.
well,
Oh, wow.
you should that should have come through. I
Okay,
just don't know if there was an
I can just be
echo.
Roger Goodell.
But
We can just. It
that's
looks like you're being
amazing.
interviewed by Roger Goodell, or you're interviewing him.
Hey, Roger. It's just funny seeing your shoulder how it,
There.
like
Okay, they can hear me
disappears.
now.
There we
Okay.
go.
All right. Sorry, Roger. It's my party.
You're out, Roger. You're out, Raj.
Bye. Go eat some more M&M edibles because we freaking know you were turned last night at the draft. Did you
Guys,
see
I
that
wish.
picture of him? I posted it on my Twitter of him just like lounging, announcing these picks, like just zero Fs to give.
It's
Like
amazing.
it was so funny. But
I
oh, I
was.
saw a question earlier. Someone was asking, boom, boom, boom. Julian, one of our lovely loyal chatters, was saying, Jessi, are you satisfied with how the draft went? As you guys know, I am a Browns fan, also a Buckeye fan. But when we're talking NFL, obviously I would want them to draft Buckeyes, but that clearly always doesn't happen. I think the last one was like Denzel Ward, that we drafted, or the Browns did. Um, did not realize there was someone behind you. Boo. Anyways,
He
um,
looks kind of like the. Remember Chris Hansen? Like the.
oh my God, have a seat. Have a seat.
Yeah.
Have a seat, linebacker. We need to talk about your drug test.
Yeah.
Talk about your pee-pee.
There's
Oh, that
there's
sounded, that
I'm
sounded.
in the I'm in the shower. There's brownies on the table and lemonade. Just hang out.
Oh my God.
Those shows were great back.
Those were. There's one. I have a meme that I have. It was like this guy like texted, "I can't control my horny level."
Mm.
Horrible. Anyways, yeah, looking at I was super happy with how the first and second round went. Obviously, the third round yesterday we kind of traded down. Uh, oh, my husband just coughed. But Jedrick Willis from Alabama is a huge, huge dude. He's an offensive tackle, I think. Yeah, he's an offensive tackle. It's exactly what I wanted with our first round pick. I'm super happy with it. We need someone to protect Baker. We need him to have more time in the pocket to throw because when he's under pressure, Baker Mayfield is horrible when he's got pressure coming in. And we kind of saw that with like Nick Bosa and like him sacking him and doing the whole mocking the Oklahoma flag plant at Ohio Stadium. He just completely freaking panics. And Odell Beckham Jr. will run his route perfect. He'll be wide open, like in the end zone. Don't see him. And a lot of times Odell gets covered pretty well because usually if he's out there, chances are he's going to get thrown to. There it is! I love it. Look at him. Dude, he had M&Ms on his table, straight up indica edibles. Just straight up. He was like, someone slipped a Xanax in his Metamucil for sure. Because mid-draft Metamucil. Oh man. Uh, anyway, that was like the Patriots pick. You know what? He was vibing off Belichick with the dog. He was vibing off Belichick. Yes, that was great. Belichick is just not. He doesn't care. He's like whatever.
I saw Vrabel, the
Mike Vrabel,
head coach.
the Ohio State University graduate, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
Um,
very very good player at the Ohio State University.
I think you put up something about.
Yeah, it was like Pink Guy and Salamander Man. I mean, he was
Yeah.
supposed to be Frozone, but honey, that physique was not that of Frozone. So I just was like, it looked like literally Pink Eye and Salamander Man had a blue baby. If you guys watch Filthy Frank, or watched Filthy Frank, you would know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That was great.
I'll
And then,
pull up.
yeah.
God.
And then it looked like there was a guy taking a shit in the background. He was not.
Oh right.
It was just really, really, really bad camera angle. Because he's like literally just sitting in a chair, but he looks like he's straight up popping a squat. Yeah, guy.
It's Filthy Frank, motherfucker. It's Filthy Frank, bitch.
We're
This guy.
oh yeah, Belichick transformed into a spirit animal, which was a husky. But yeah, Let's see. Then we got a safety from LSU with our number 2 pick. I think we traded down. We had 41, and we traded down to 44. Whatever. Then we got a defensive lineman, Jordan Elliott, out of Missouri. We got literally everyone out of the SEC, which is fine. And then we got a linebacker out of LSU, which is totally fine. I think that we needed to kind of solidify our linemen, kind of solidify the trench warfare, just because we needed all that help we can get. Because we've got some pretty great offensive weapons. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he gets a lot of shit, but he's actually pretty good. He I think that his passing's pretty accurate. He's not a very good rusher, but I think that if he gets enough blocking, he can pass it off to Nick freaking Chubb, who did not get a lot of love last year because Freddie Kitchens is the fucking worst play caller on planet fucking Earth. Like,
I remember him from. I'm not big in college football, but like I remember Nick Chubb from UGA because I have a lot of
yeah.
friends that are fans. He was like really good. I've kind of kept up with him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm with you there for sure. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I'm surprised he didn't do more last season.
Because Freddie Kitchens fucking sucks. We're gonna get demonetized, but that's okay. Like,
No, it's fine.
just Freddie Kitchens fucking sucked. I fucking hated his fucking weak ass play calling, his fucking weak ass yes man mentality, which is why fucking Dorsey hired him. Like, sorry, I just was really mad. He fucking weak ass 4th down play calling. It was like 4th and fucking 2, and he throws like a short shovel pass. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You have Nick fucking Chubb, bro. Like, for real? Sorry. But I'm really Stefanski. He's incredibly attractive. Stefanski was fucking grabbing his dick last night on television, like itching his pee-pee. I was like, bro, someone tell him he's live on television. Like, for real. Like, man, it was wild. But I was really happy with our draft picks. I would have liked to see us get another running back like J.K. Dobbins, just because Nick Chubb is a really good running back, but also he running backs can be really vulnerable to high ankle sprains, and even though like Dobbins had a few of those and struggled with that in college, I feel like kind of like balancing the rushing load. I feel like that would have been a wise choice, but I also see why they added the people that they did. Got to build those trenches. Got to get those people to block. Got to get those people to protect the quarterback, protect the plays. You can't run your routes if you're being schooled. So, especially if you're being schooled up front, getting sacked. Baker Mayfield was sacked. I feel like he was sacked more than anyone else. Like, let me look that up. That was crazy. While I looked that up, why don't you talk about how your Vikings did?
Before I could completely forgotten Stefanski was the new head coach for y'all because
Yeah, that's right.
he was with the Vikings last year. He did a really good job as offensive coordinator for Minnesota. I thought people speak pretty highly of him. He seemed like he didn't get in Minnesota, especially. Because, I shouldn't say especially. A lot of teams are like this, but in Minnesota, like we're pretty brutal at this point. Like we're like pretty impatient because we keep having teams that are like on paper good enough to contend for Super Bowls, and we just always underdeliver. And it's just one of those things where like basically we've gone through so many quarterbacks over like the last like 10 years, even like multiple quarterbacks, multiple head coaches, like just the coaching staff is just constantly changing, and people seem to really like Stefanski a lot. So, which is not an easy thing. Like in Minnesota, you gotta like really earn our our trust as like a coach or something like that.
Yeah.
Y'all got a good coach, I think, with Stefanski for sure.
Yeah.
As far as the Vikings draft, I like it a lot based on like Minnesota traded away Stephon Diggs, which was their deep threat receiver. Adam Thielen, in my opinion, is one of the best receivers in all of football.
Dude, underrated for sure.
Yeah,
It's
unfortunately
a good fantasy pick.
Unfortunately dealt with injuries last year.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, he injured himself catching a touchdown. Like if you're gonna hurt yourself, you might as well do it catching a touchdown, I guess. But
Yeah, at least you get points when you do it.
yeah, right. So with Diggs not being there, it was good to see them draft a wide receiver 22nd overall, and then a cornerback 30th overall, which is what they need. Then another quarterback, another cornerback rather yesterday, which is they're replacing Xavier Rhodes, who played terrible last season, but historically had been a good player for them. So they needed cornerbacks, and they've got two of them already. They needed a new wide receiver. They got one in the first round. And then they traded away a lot of their picks for they have so many picks coming up still where, or maybe they'll use those picks to trade back up, or they'll use those picks to, for future picks or other players in like different trade deals. But they have a lot that they can do with that because they've pretty much addressed the immediate needs already. So now it's just like, okay, because the rest of the team is in place, and that's the frustrating.
Yeah.
Like Kirk Cousins, unfortunately, can be incredibly hit or miss. So like when he's on, it goes along with everything I've already said about being a Vikings fan. Like Kirk Cousins is super polarizing in Minnesota. Most people think he's grossly overpaid. And underdelivers, and he's only won one playoff game, in his whole career. Like, it's completely unproven for the amount of money he's actually making. And on top of that, he's kind of a head case. Like, I've heard things about him, like, actually having a calendar for every day that he lives, and it's, like, marked down 10 minutes at a time. Like, his...
What?
Is scheduled in, 10-minute intervals his entire...
What if there's an overtime that he didn't plan for? What does he
do? That's the thing. Like, you can see it in the way that he plays. The second that the pressure's on, it's completely out the window. Like, he mentally just, that's what he's dealing with. I think what he's dealing with the most is just, the mental side of, the anxiety of, being a highly paid quarterback with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Like, I don't know if he can handle it or not. Like, he has shown moments of brilliance. Like, really has shown, he's thrown some really great passes since he's been there. He hasn't justified the amount of money we're paying him yet, but if he can just play a little bit above average, just a little bit above average, the rest of the team, we have good wide receivers. Yeah, we have good wide receivers. We have, Dalvin Cook's one of the best running backs in football.
Dude, yes.
I mean, in his backup, Alexander Madison is really, really solid also. Kyle Rudolph's a great tight end. Like, they have...
The best tight end.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like, so they have, and then their defense is solid as well. Like, they have a lot of playmakers on defense, like Harrison Smith and Eric Hendricks, and, they got a lot of really good players and stuff. So it's like, if they can just keep it together, they have a chance. And this is also going to be Mike Zimmer's kind of on the chopping block, I feel like. He's been in Minnesota as the head coach for a few years now. Everyone seems to like him. He's really well respected, but we can't just keep, the Vikings have never won the Super Bowl ever in history.
Neither of the Browns.
Right. Yeah, so I feel you on that. It's one of those things where the Browns, I think, have a bit more work to do to build up their team at the moment. But the Vikings are constantly, it's you have the team. The team's there. Just perform. We could totally do this with the talent we have.
It's the ammo is there, but you keep missing the target.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or something crazy happens where
God, I know.
We get to the NFC Championship and then Walsh misses a 27-yard field goal. Or,
that shit sucked.
Yeah, or Brett Favre gets, targeted in the game that, the best season of his career, arguably, and he's playing for Minnesota, and the Saints go out there and, severely injure him, and, after the fact, wind up getting penalized and suspended during, their...
Right, because the bounty shit, right?
Yeah, they were literally... For those of you who don't know, the New Orleans Saints were paying their players bonuses based on being able to injure Brett Favre during NFC Championship game.
It's not funny, but it kind of is.
But that's what they were doing. They were paying extra money to go out there and hurt Brett Favre. And they succeeded. They went out there and beat the shit out of him. And then like the head coach got suspended the next season because like it totally got proven that is what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff. It's Gary Anderson in 1998 who hadn't missed a field goal in 2 seasons. A field goal to put the Falcons away, and then the Falcons wind up beating us in overtime to get to the Super Bowl. You know, it's like it's those kind of things just constantly happening.
It reminds me of the Browns, and it hurts my heart.
I mean, if I was a Browns fan, I'd be even more frustrated because it never seems to get better for y'all. Like you know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. It fucking sucks. It's miserable. Like last year, I knew we would fucking suck. You know why I knew we would fucking suck? Because there was so much hype. This whole Super Bowl, Super Brown shit. I'm like, there's no way that we're gonna live up to this hype. It was like just we got Greeley, we got Beckham, we got Baker, we had all these great players stacked up. We got Odell. That was like game change. And we go out there and we don't even break even. We went 7, 8, and 1. Like
yeah.
we just, and then obviously the whole situation with the helmet incident with Kyle Rudolph and Myles Garrett, which was just the most fucking Browns thing I've ever. When Myles Garrett ripped that helmet off and fucking smashed Mason Rudolph on the head with it. Could have killed him. Could have killed him. Like, legit could have. I was like, we just fucking beat the Steelers. We just beat the Steelers, like, twice in 1 year, which is, like, unheard of. We beat the Ravens and the Steelers in a year, which is, like, a huge deal. And no one's talking about how we beat them. We're talking about this. Like, it was the most Browns thing. I was like, we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in every sense of the word, and it's the most, like, I literally was like this. I was surrender cobraing the entire time. I was like, I could not believe what I was seeing on, and what's worse is it wasn't on a Sunday at 1 p.m. when there's so many other games going on. It wasn't like there was other stuff going on. It was Thursday night football. That was it. That was all there was to talk about. That's all ESPN talked about until Sunday. It was like, oh my God, Myles Garrett, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, you can't be doing all that.
no, you can't be doing that. And of course, but then there were some really funny things that came out of it. Like a Browns fan they took their windshield wiper and they put a Steelers helmet on it. So on their back rear windshield wiper, and then they put Mason Rudolph here. So every time it swiped, it hit Mason Rudolph in the head.
That's some
I thought
you gotta
it was
respect
funny as hell.
Yeah, I mean that took a lot of thought to come up with that.
Yeah, it's like being overlooked on top of controversy. Yeah, Brett Favre got wrecked in that game. Got totally wrecked. Poor guy. What did we think of Tampa Bay's picks? I didn't see who Tampa Bay picked.
I did see that one of their picks was Anton Winfield Jr. and
Was it really?
Anton Winfield, his father, is my favorite defensive player of all time. He played for the Vikings for like a decade at cornerback and was he was an undersized guy and overperformed every season. He tackled absolutely everything. He finally made the Pro Bowl one of his last seasons in the league. But he was one of those guys who was constantly talked about where like you like on like all the shows and during the games and stuff, the commentary would always be like talk about how he's always like the top he was always like the most snubbed defensive player who like people were like, well, I don't know how this guy's in the Pro Bowl every season because people were so afraid to throw his way that like he didn't have the stats. You know what I mean? Because like he just didn't have that as many opportunities because people didn't throw to him. But when they did, he destroyed these guys.
Yeah.
So, if you want to get to the super chat, thank you, Corey.
Yes, thank you, Corey, so much. Thank you. That's awesome. What is the biggest surprise of the draft? Mine's where Jalen Hurts went. I did not see that coming. I completely agree with you, Corey. I was shocked that Tua went before him. I think we talked about that before we went live. Mm-hmm. I'm really shocked that a guy while Tua I thought was a great player for Alabama, I also feel like he was incredibly injury prone. You saw him get replaced by Jalen Hurts in the SEC championship game against Georgia. I believe so. Was that the game or was it the other way around? I can't really remember. But he got hurt with like a high ankle sprain there, and then he had his hip completely dislocated on a completely meaningless play that was completely unnecessary. Didn't play a snap more of college football for his entire career. Was completely done. He's been privately rehabbing, um, doing private practices, like open practices. So I was completely shocked to see Tua go before Jalen. Um, I thought Jalen was a better all-around quarterback. He just didn't happen to play for Alabama. He transferred to Oklahoma, I think, or did he? No, wait. Did he transfer from Oklahoma? Wait, what am I talking about? I'm confused.
I don't know. You're the college football expert. I don't
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of
know.
like had a brain fart there. I don't know what the hell just happened. No, I think yeah, he did transfer to Oklahoma because he played under Tua, and then when he found out Tua was still going to start, he transferred. Which is like, can we talk about how great the freaking transfer portal is for quarterbacks? Like, look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was in line to start at okay. I'm about to go off on a rant here. Okay. All these motherfucking people that want to fucking tell me that Joe Burrow is not an Ohio State Buckeye, should not count as Ohio State Buckeye, are full of fucking shit. Here's what happened. For all of you that don't want to do your fucking research, okay? Joe Burrow broke his fucking hand in the offseason. Dwayne Haskins comes in, becomes the greatest pocket passer in the entire world, like for Ohio State, in Ohio State's history. Like, Art Schlichter was like the last one in like I don't even freaking remember. Okay, so Joe Burrow breaks his hand, right? Dwayne Haskins comes in, is healthy, completely healthy, earns the starting earns the starting job at Ohio State over Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a graduate at Ohio State. He's a graduate transfer to LSU. Okay, so he enters the transfer portal. We did not want him to leave. Okay, Urban Meyer did not want him to leave. He wanted Joe Burrow to stay, but he really, really understood. Listen, go do your thing. Go do it. You've got 2 more years of eligibility. Go for it. All right. Dwayne Haskins is going to be our starter. That's it. You're clearly talented. You've got incredible skill. Go do it. So he transfers down to LSU. First year, really good. Second year, freaking baller, freaking amazing. Really develops in that LSU system. Um, Ed Ogeron or whatever his name is, the coach over at LSU, really develops the entire offense around Joe Burrow. LSU's got an incredible offensive line, incredible wide receivers. Joe Burrow becomes really physical. He gets down there in his Heisman speech. He said, I'm raising this trophy for the entire state of Ohio and Louisiana. Now, had Joe Burrow gone out there and said, listen, I disown the entire state of Ohio. I disown Ohio State. Don't tell me I'm from there. Don't call me a Buckeye. I'd have been like, all right, respect it. Respect it. Cool. I don't like Tate Martell. I don't want to claim Tate Martell, but I still do, even though he went down to Miami and played like shit. Um, but you know what? I do. No, he didn't say that. Ohio State was a pivotal part of his career. Ohio State was a pivotal turning point. Ohio State developed him and developed his skills and honed his skills so that he could become the best player that LSU could have had at quarterback. Won a national championship for him. Dude is from Athens, Ohio. Like, that's where OU is, which is Ohio University, which is like a super duper party school. My dad got kicked out of OU, by the way. But I just he's from Ohio. It's in his blood. It was his dream to play at Ohio State. He did for a while. He's played pretty well as a backup under JT Barrett. But then, he broke his hand. Shit happens. And honestly, I'm not happy that he broke his hand, but I'm really happy that he went down to LSU and, freaking played amazing down there. Really proud of him. We're all rooting for him. So, like, I just really don't like that. I don't like that. Sorry if I went on a tangent. We don't have anything else to talk about, really. And I would say definitely Jalen Hurts was definitely a shock to me. I think New England's pick, too, was a shocker. But then, obviously, Bill Belichick kind of knows what he's doing, and he's kind of one of those guys that like recruits like the smaller schools, or like gets. I mean, Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick, so I mean, clearly he saw something in Tom Brady that no one else did, and look at him now. So I kind of trust his kind of draft selections, even though it did look like a dog made the draft pick for him. I would say that's probably a big shock in the draft. A good shock to me was how high Damon Arnett from Ohio State went. What's his face? The guy that always the NFL draft expert guy. What's his name? The guy who's always on the draft.
I don't know. There's a few of those kind of guys, like
What is it?
Ray
Mel
Wingo,
Kiper.
Adam Schefter, huh?
Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper. Gotcha.
He's Jeff Okuda asked him. He's like, "Why don't you have Damon Arnett higher in the draft?" And he's like, "Oh, I have him going like 2nd to 4th round." Blah blah blah. Damon Arnett gets picked. What? He was in the top 15, 16. He's a really, really good. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. True that. My tangents are the best. Thanks. He's a cornerback out of Ohio State who literally had a freaking perfect season. Like, had zero like pass interference calls against him. Like, it was absolutely freaking nuts. He got drafted by the Raiders. What pick was he? 19th. So he was 19th. So that was a good shock to me. That was a really good shock. I was really happy to see him go that high. I think he deserved it. Another shock is how KJ Hill, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, hasn't been picked, and Benjamin Victor also. I think KJ Hill is literally like one of the most talented wide receivers in the draft class. What the hell is that? Sorry, something just landed over here. I think he's one of the most talented wide receivers in the draft. Like, I've seen him practice at Ohio State. Like, he does like Odell Beckham Jr. kind of catches. I know a lot about Ohio State, so like I'm always biased with their players. I feel like whoever gets him is going to get an absolute steal in a wide receiver. But I can understand because wide receivers tend to go second. And they usually don't really go in the first round unless they're absolutely freaking phenomenal. So yeah.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit before we went live, but I thought I was most surprised by Jordan Hill going to the Packers.
Yeah, Jordan Love, right?
Oh, Jordan Love. Sorry, Hill. Jeez.
Yeah.
What someone? I don't know why I was.
That's another shocker. Yes.
Jordan Love. Yeah, he. I mean, almost said Brett Favre. It's a Brett Favre type situation with Aaron Rodgers. That's really, really interesting. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why the organization would be sending that kind of message to Aaron Rodgers of like, taking, drafting a quarterback in the first round basically means like you're putting, you're investing in your future with that guy to some degree. Whether it's, in a few seasons or whatever it is. But a guy like that who gets drafted that early isn't going to want to just like be a backup for the first, forever. So something where, I mean, the writing's kind of beginning to be on the wall, I feel like, with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, which is a crazy thing to say because if he stays uninjured, he could still play. I mean, we're seeing it with older quarterbacks. They can play at an older and older age if they can stay uninjured with, how the game's changed. They've kind of nerfed the quarterback position where...
God, haven't they? Roughing the passer. Can we talk about that? Like, geez.
Right. Some of it's like real ridiculous where like they get touched, but they get hit in like the wrong spot.
Baker Mayfield never gets that call against him.
Oh, really?
Fucking bullshit, yeah. He gets his fucking head almost decapitated, and it's like, oh, well, he was outside the pocket.
But it'll be interesting, like, because I could see the similar kind of thing. I mean, literally the same thing happened when the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, and he sat behind Brett Favre for a few seasons, but they saw, like, okay, this is our next guy. Like, no matter how good Favre's been for the organization, we gotta look towards the future, and then that, obviously led to Favre, getting released. He went and played for the Jets for a season. Most people forget completely about that. And then he signed with the Vikings, had one great year, and then the second year not so great. But it's one of those things where, like, I could totally see Aaron Rodgers. The same thing with, like, Tom Brady. I mean, we're seeing
Yeah.
Tom Brady go to a new team this late in his career. So, I mean, it's happened throughout history in the NFL too. So, but I didn't expect to see that with Green Bay this year. I figured it'd be a couple more years before they drafted a quarterback real early to be the next Rodgers. So that was a little.
Yeah. I feel like they did with this Jordan Love what someone should have done with Tua. Like, I feel like Tua is a guy who needs to not sit, but like he needs to be under the wing. He needs like a mentor. He needs to be like an understudy. Just to freaking rehab that hip injury. That's a very serious. That could have killed him. That could have like completely ripped out his artery and made him bleed to death. Like, it was serious. Like, he not only could have lost his career, he could have lost his life. So, like, I'm very hesitant with Tua starting in Miami, especially under. I mean, they've got a pretty good offensive line, but yeah, that was a big shocker. But I think there was a lot of drama last year on NFL Twitter about like Aaron Rodgers being a freaking diva and like his like not being a team player. Like, I feel like that was a big deal last year. Like, Aaron Rodgers just being a complete douche nozzle or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's allegedly. I wasn't in the locker room. Never played a snap of real football, so I don't know. But like that, maybe that's just like, hey, dude, you're replaceable now. Oh man, you can't see my hand.
Disappearing on Goodell. There you go. Wow. Great background.
It's so good. I was gonna do the dog, but I feel like this was better.
Yeah.
Vibes, because I can just stand in front of him. Like, what? We even do. Yeah, and then I think Corey asked, what does it mean to be a walk-on? And Paul kind of answered it. A walk-on is usually, like I said, I could be talking out of my ass, but this is just what I know. A walk-on is usually a term used in college football when it means you weren't offered a scholarship. So you weren't offered a scholarship, but you went to a team tryout. And then usually a walk-on will be offered a scholarship, but they have to like earn it like there. Usually the term I've heard used in the NFL is like an undrafted free agent. So you go undrafted. Usually when you're drafted, you're not a walk-on, but you're an undrafted free agent, which means you weren't in the draft, or you were in the draft, but you didn't get drafted, and you had to go and earn your spot, not just get drafted. So that's what I have always heard. And
Yeah.
Paul, you said your Raiders need help on defense. Honey, you got it. You got it with Damon Arnett. I believe that's where Damon Arnett went. I think he went to the Raiders with a 19th pick. Yeah. He's great. He's great. He's going to be a great, great, great corner for you guys. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be really good. I think it's a really good draft pick. Watched him literally just be incredible all year. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be really interesting to see how Chase Young does. Because basically he got held every fucking game last year. Everyone's like, oh, what happened to Chase Young? Where'd he go? When he plays a real team, he can't play. They were triple teaming him, holding him on every fucking play, never got fucking called. You can go back, watch the film. Like, so I don't think an NFL team is going to put 3 dudes on him, because I think the team is going to be more well-rounded than a college team.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be really interesting. I feel like Ohio State, I mean, you just look, like, in the past, like, you look at fucking Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, and now Chase Young, and next year Sean Wade's going to come out. Like, you want to talk about DBU? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about Ohio State and how we had literally the first top 3, 1, 2, 3 Ohio State guys? Literally the top 3 picks in the draft this year were all on the same team at one point. Like, that's fucking nuts. Like,
that is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, it's wild. Like, I don't know. I could talk about that all day. I'm really gonna be upset if they cancel football season.
Yeah, it's totally possible. I know. Paul, we're talking about the Raiders. I went by the Raiders' new stadium when I was in Vegas.
I did too. It was like a skeleton when I went.
It looks awesome now. It's like,
Does it?
yeah, it's black. Like the whole like exterior is like black. It's like black and silver kind of. I think there was a little bit of,
Damn, it's cool.
yeah. It looks pretty
I think
cool.
I saw the inside render. I think it looks pretty tight. Like, I think it looks really neat.
Yeah, they're yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with the season though. Like I saw the other day, people are so starved for like any kind of sports content right now that ESPN was putting up clips on their social media. I don't know where this was like being aired initially, but like they were putting up clips on their social media of Daniel Cormier, who's a former heavyweight and
Mhm.
champion in the UFC, playing. I'm pretty sure he was playing against Snoop Dogg in Madden. Like in
Okay.
Snoop Dogg versus Cormier in Madden. Like that was like for people to watch because like
There's nothing else.
yeah, oh yeah, I saw like ESPN. Like I don't know if they've been doing it consistently, but a few weeks ago I remember late night ESPN was airing like cornhole and dodgeball and like all these weird.
Darts.
The ESPN ate the Ocho from Dodgeball the movie was like that's what they were doing for like just so people could watch some sort of it was like people throwing axes and like chopping wood and stuff. It was just like all these kind of like odd sports just because there's nothing to there's nothing to watch. Like sports
It
now, it's funny.
says I'm echoing again. Is it bad? How bad is the echo? Is it soothing? Does it sound like I'm in a cave? I hope it's soothing, not annoying.
Yeah, me too. I wish there was a way that I could like confidently fix this. Like,
Yeah, I'm looking at the controls right now. Don't really know. I don't know if it's maybe your desktop audio, like you have it on your desktop and you can kind of hear me through that.
that's probably it. But I'm also using. There was like an issue trying to get my like external mic set up, so
Yeah.
it's
You need
probably
one of these
all.
cheap ones.
Oh no,
Find
I
it on
have like
Amazon.
yeah, I have
Oh, not
yeah
anymore. We're good.
yeah. Cool.
This
Just
is a
keep letting us know if it echoes because there is a button that I every now and then when I hit it, it stops it. Like I kind of turn it. It's almost like unplugging it and plugging it back in when something's not working. I kind of like there's like a button I can hit where it kind of like seems to fix it and then goes away for a while, then it comes back. So yeah, just let us know.
nice.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, make sure you guys if you are liking what you see, I know it's kind of not wrestling, um but there's really nothing we can like actually talk about without like getting in hot water. Really. So that we didn't discuss Thursday. So if you do happen to like this, just hit that like button, share it if you want. Not asking you to do it, like not forcing you to do it, just on your own free will. That would be really cool to help us out, subscribe and all that fun stuff. Just I was just kind of randomly putting that out there just because. Um, but yeah, I really think that um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Gronk got drafted to Tampa. I feel like Gronk was kind of like the Odell Beckham Jr. thing, and so was Stephon Diggs for who did he go to? New England? Where'd he go?
He went to
Or Carolina?
what?
I don't know.
What? No, it was No, I can't remember. Jeez. Was it the Bills? I think he might have went to Buffalo.
Where the heck? What?
Something like that.
Did he really? Yeah, you know what? I think I was talking with someone about that on my own fans because they were a Bills fan and we were talking about how the Bills and the Browns have like um the same kind of fan base, like the Bills Mafia and the Dog Pound are like they just party hard. I
Hmm.
love that. Um Diggs went to Buffalo. Yeah. Okay, so that's why they didn't have a first round draft pick, right? Would believe so. That's kind of like how we had like the 13th pick last year and which is ironic because that's Odell's number. Whoa. I just heard thunder. Is that on the TV? Okay, so me and my husband have been really into watching like abandoned house videos on YouTube.
Oh, really? I've
Yeah.
never.
Like
Never.
there's these people that go there's this guy, he's like Urbex Canada, okay. He goes into these like abandoned houses where like they're completely untouched, like from like the 90s. Like people just up and left, like got
Mm.
abducted by aliens or something, and no one's been in these houses. And there's like untouched like stuff from like the 90s and stuff. It's so cool. Like, sorry, so that's probably what he's watching. So, which is insulting without me because I love those. They're really interesting. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's really not much going on in wrestling that we can talk about, like actually talk about.
Yeah.
Right,
All
there was
questions.
something. Yeah, if you guys have questions, just freaking ask. I don't care. Just don't be a jerk. Like, I don't know. I've been talking about football. That's kind of. I was really glad to have the draft. Honestly, like it was weird, sure, but I kind of liked it better.
It was nice. Aside from like we were talking about it before the stream,
Crane.
but like it was weird watching Roger Goodell talking to trying to like pretend like he was interacting with clearly pre-recorded people. Like all those squares on his screen were like people that clearly wasn't live. It was all pre-taped footage of everyone like, yeah, let's go, yay, like on their cameras, and
Right.
and he'd be sitting or standing there in front of his TV like, all right, Browns, we got a good one coming up for you. So and so.
Well, he's like looking at it. Like, here, I've got the TV. He'd be like, okay. He'd be like, and then he'd be like, all right.
Yeah. He'd be
Hey.
looking at it and talking to it, like, and then turning around and it was also.
Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Yeah.
It was also kind of strange because like I know that they want to be careful in what they're saying and like it's live and stuff, but so much of what they're doing is like it's so insanely scripted. Like you can see that they're clearly reading everything they're saying. Like it's weird. So it's like
And these guys clearly know where they're going beforehand because they have the hats ready.
yeah, well, I'm not even talking about just that stuff. Like even when they come
Yeah.
to like the like Make a Wish kid or something who would be standing there like he's reading something because he's like
Yeah.
6-year-old kid. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like then it'll cut to Roger Goodell and like if you're just like a normal ass person like and you see that you could just off the top of your head be like thank you so much, like we really supporting you, go check out Make a Wish. It really helps out us in the NFL. Like, we're really proud to be a part of this. Instead, it's like, we are so happy to have involvement in the stuff with Make a Wish. And it's like, it's so clearly like, it's all so scripted. It's so weird
Yeah.
watching this dude reading a teleprompter in his basement, like, pretending
Yeah.
to talk to people on a screen that aren't.
Well, we were discussing, my husband and I were wondering, did he have cue cards or did he have a thing? A
teleprompter?
monitor. Yeah, a teleprompter. Because it
Probably
looked like cue card. We felt we were getting cue card vibes from it. Because I
Yeah,
don't know
it
if I would, if I'm like NFL production company, I'm not trusting Roger Goodell to set up a teleprompter. Like,
Well, you can get cheap, like, or not cheap, but
well, it's NFL, they got money.
yeah, true. But they have good teleprompters you can buy now, where you just like slip your laptop into it and it basically makes it like a mirror. So like anything
Damn.
that needs to be said basically like reflects back to you. And all you need is like just like to slip a iPad or whatever into it.
That's like kind of like those projector things.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then oh man. Oh, and then how they kept talking about the pandemic and the unprecedented circumstances and like we're all in this together. It's like, dude, we get it. All right. The Peyton Manning vignette opening piece was beautiful. Totally get that, but bro, we get it. Okay. Like we're living it too. Like y'all need to stop. Like it was like this is depressing enough as it is. We get it. They mentioned this entire thing, like unprecedented circumstances, like 10,000 times. Every other pick, it was like just depressing as hell. It's like, guys, we get it. Come on, let's.
Like anyone's gonna tune in and like not know.
Like what?
Yeah.
The draft
Oh,
is virtual?
that's
What's
why.
happening?
Yeah.
Like, get out of here. We all are living in this. I mean, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being bitter.
Right.
But it was like, it's annoying. And then like, there were just so many like beautiful, memeable moments. Like yesterday during the draft, a little kid was getting slapped awake by his mom because his like big brother got drafted. I posted it on my Twitter. He
Is
was
that
like,
what Raven Styles 06 is talking about?
uh, no, oh yeah, yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. I don't know. That kid was like, just he had it. I don't know what was going on, but the mom was like, "Wake up! You're making me look stupid." And then he just turned around and just like went back to sleep. Like, and then
Oh
like
my
obviously
god.
we showed Mike Vrabel's setup, which was incredible. Bill Belichick's setup. Oh, and then someone got really mad. Who was it? I think it was the Falcons. He got like fucking pissed. I liked it. I know I liked it.
I'm trying to find it on your you said you liked it on
Oh no, I tweeted the video of the kid being slapped.
let's see if I can find it. Boom, boom. I'll switch this real quick.
Yeah, okay. Texans coach Bill O'Brien sure seemed upset about something. Oh yeah, here it is. That was it. He just that's Bill
Oh wait,
Belichick.
was it higher
And
up?
I think it's down further. Maybe.
It's
No,
higher.
go up.
Okay.
Go up. There, that's it right there. That mood. Watch
Oh,
this little
okay.
kid. It's like slapped by his mom. And then he's just like, nope, I'm going back to bed. Ready? Oh. She's like, wake up. That was so funny.
She's looking
And
directly at the camera while she's saying something into his ear.
yeah. And then I'm gonna put you in this one. This is like old man versus technology. He's like so frustrated. Dude, the Brown secondary is gonna be great. We got Greedy, we got Joseph, we got Delpit, we got Ward. Ooh. I know who you are, Corey. You gotta tell me who you are.
Corey Steven, or is he saying Corey?
It's Corey Steven.
That's his name,
Yeah, his name's Corey.
but his last name's Steven.
No, he's saying it's Corey, it's Corey Steven. Like Steven, it's Corey.
But I don't. I'm trying to think of who Corey is. Who's Corey?
I'll tag you in. He's on Twitter. Where's his
Yeah, I'm
name?
sure I'll recognize. I was thrown off by. I thought he was saying his first name was Corey, and his last name. It was like, or is it? Hey, it's Corey Steven from Twitter. I must know you through Twitter, but I'm terrible with usernames.
Corey, right here. Oh no, my phone went away. Just kidding. Right. It's Hummel's last name. I think.
Corey Michael Hum.
Pretty sure that's who it is. There's some Corys in here. Yes. My screen went to darkness. There, Bill. It would turn into Roger Goodell there. That was funny.
I'm telling you, I'm searching. Did you spell your username wrong, Corey? MyChalHUMM. Or is it Michael AEO?
Is the draft on right now?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Corey.
Oh my God, the draft is underway. The draft is underway.
Oh, yeah.
That's me. I'm commish. Is he doing it today, or did he just give up? I tell you what though, because usually around like the third round, he's like passed it off to like random ass people. So like last night he was working overtime.
Yeah, I didn't watch it all last night. Probably won't watch it today. But I did watch the first round. But maybe I'll watch some of it today if there's nothing else going on.
There's nothing going on. Man, we are still getting up that rain train. Oh my God.
The rain train?
Yeah, our weatherman said that there was a system running a train on us. It's like, hey. Appreciate that, man. Yes, this weather's kinky.
It's about to get wet.
Oh my God.
It's oh.
That was funny.
Yeah. It reminds me of pull this up. fucking this thing.
Welcome to my.
This.
Let me see. Oh wait, hold on. Let me pull up my. Yes, dude. I used to have the Family Guy DVDs, and that shit used to crack me up every time.
Yeah.
And then they ran with it too much, and it wasn't as funny.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, but like the first time, yeah, that was the
first time
best.
it was fucking funny.
Back to JGeezy. That's the new slogan for the podcast.
About to get wet.
About to get wet.
Oh man, dude, we would get so many views, but then we get like a bunch of downloads because people, this isn't what I thought.
Clickbait.
13-year-olds with YouTube for the first time searching like boobs.
Yeah, we are not looking to attract that audience. Just put that
Yeah, that's
right now.
my OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not
Ugh.
kidding. Yeah, like for real. It's this, but you know what? We needed the rain. We've been in a severe drought. Look at fucking Goodell's head, just chilling. Get out of my way. There we go.
Slogan.
His shoulder pad. It's just. It's all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on in the draft. Ah! Oh my god. Sorry. I felt the hair and I thought it was a bug. I hate
Anyone
bugs.
anyone in the chat have any wrestling questions? Let me know.
Yeah. Let us go. Let's see. We haven't talked about wrestling like at all. It's weird. People are gonna be mad, but there's really nothing too much to talk about. Like what? We kind of went over everything. You know?
Wasn't it, it's like this. Oh wait. Never mind, sorry. I was typing something. Sorry, what did you say? I got distracted by the chat real quick. I was reading.
Were you trying to do the calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, 80085.
Yeah. I almost typed that in there, but then it's like, yeah. Anyway, just looking at it.
I don't know. Thoughts on Io versus Charlotte? Should be good. I'm down with it.
Yeah. I think Io is she's one of my favorite female wrestlers on the, and it's like always gonna
get a good match out of anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, should be good. I really like Io's presentation. Like, I think that she looks. Well, I think for one, I think like she's like attractive.
Look.
But, huh?
Her looks.
Yeah.
Her facial expressions are great.
Yeah. Well, and also like, I like the way she like dresses and stuff now too. Like kind of like the darker. Like I like her entrance. I think her whole presentation is. She's probably my favorite female wrestler in like all of WWE right now, as far as.
Really, that's awesome. I think she would be somebody. I don't know if they'll do it. They probably won't. But she would be definitely a force that I can totally see taking down Charlotte. Like being like, this is my division now. Like I can totally, completely see that. I feel like it's believable that she could beat Charlotte and then throw it in her face and tell her to leave. And then immediately become the coolest person in NXT if you didn't think that already. Completely can see it. She's definitely got that vibe. She's a badass. I feel like Charlotte is definitely doing the whole cocky thing right now, clearly. But I really do. I feel like Io Shirai is like a believable person that makes Charlotte look beatable. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
with you. Our Raven says she did a better heel transformation than Bayley. Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. I remember I was in Dallas when Bayley turned heel. I like looked up. I was literally filming something to my friend Hannah about this like haul I had at the store, and I looked up in the middle of this video, and I was like, "What the hell just happened to Bayley?" She went in with a knife at those little tube people.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
That was great. She needed to do that. That was smart that they did that.
Yeah, it was very, very smart. What's going on with the draft? I want KJ Hill and Benjamin Victor and Austin Mack to be drafted. Austin Mack is a little bit injury prone, though, so I don't think he's going to be drafted. Wow!
Any of these people are.
My husband's watching the Avengers because I heard the theme, and I just keep hearing booms. I'm like,
I still gotta watch all those. Like, I haven't watched.
I went to all the midnight showings.
I've only seen like of all those Marvel movies. I've only seen. I saw the first Iron Man in the theaters when I was in college, and I think the second one. And I saw. I've seen the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Outside of that, I haven't seen like anything in the Marvel.
I really liked Doctor Strange.
Really
That's a good one. That's a trippy as fuck. It's really good to watch when you're stoned.
interesting. Maybe
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah. Definitely watch it in like 4K if you can, by the way, because it's fucking beautiful.
What do you think are the long-term plans for Sasha Banks after she
That's a good question.
left? What do you think?
I don't know. It was as soon as she came out with the little fan with Lacey's daughter on it, I was like, she's losing. I'm like, she's losing because you can't do that, especially in WWE, and not lose because that's such a heel move that it's like if Lacey Evans loses here, she's done. No, no more Lacey Evans. I I don't know what they're gonna do with Sasha Banks. I feel like I don't know if they're just gonna kind of milk that heel turn, kind of tease that heel turn on Bailey, even well, she's still a heel. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't. I don't feel like this is like the end. I don't feel like this is bad. I feel like maybe she's gonna interfere at Money in the Bank. Um, or maybe she'll side with Tamina. Maybe she'll turn and join Tamina on Bailey, which I don't see why they would do that, but I could see them doing that. I'm just trying to think of something more interesting than the actual typical heel turn that keeps happening with Bailey, or the turn, I should say, that keeps happening with Sasha and Bailey. Like, we get it. They're frenemies. Like, I don't know. I do feel bad for her too because she could never defend her title. Like every time she wins the title, her first title defense, she loses it. Like 5 in a row, I feel. Um, so I think it's honestly it's interesting for her. I don't think it's like the end of her. I don't think it makes her look too weak because it was a really good match last night. That Bailey and Lacey Evans, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was very physical. Lacey started bleeding at the mouth, and I'm like, yes, let's go, let's get this work in. They were both very physical. It was pretty badass. I really liked it. So I think it'll be interesting. I think Sasha's a great worker. I think she's really good. I've really loved her in NXT. I've loved her run so far in WWE in the main roster. Don't like the title defense losing streak, but it should be really interesting to see where she goes from here. I don't know. It's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange that they like, at least at the moment, they seem to like really value Bailey over Sasha. Like at the moment, which is kind of,
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of makes sense though. I mean, we can't forget that Sasha like straight up like bailed from the company also.
that's true.
So I mean, it isn't surprising that she wouldn't be like pushed to the moon or something like that. With like, I get it. Um, I get why she left. Also, I understand the frustrations and stuff, but like, because like Bailey, if I remember correctly, both of them were like wanted out or whatever, but Bailey just kind of like didn't go home, or maybe she did, but like came like right back. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Sasha's just kind of stuck in kind of the same spot she's just kind of been stuck in. Maybe it might serve her really well to go to NXT. Like maybe after Charlotte like comes back to Raw or SmackDown, maybe have Sasha go to NXT for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
That might be fun. I don't
Get some
know.
ratings for sure. Try and get a younger demographic in there because it feels like all the only demo they win is like the 55 plus for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't realize a lot of people that age watched NXT, so I think they need something to get that younger demo. I feel like Matt Riddle would be really good at doing that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know.
His team with Pete Dunne is weird. Like they're good. Like they're both
But they can't really do anything right now because
right.
they can't. They're stuck. Pete Dunne's stuck in the UK, ain't he?
Yeah. So
Isn't he there? Yeah, so
I know Riddle did something where he teamed with Timothy Thatcher the other week. I haven't seen it.
that was really good, I heard. I heard it was really, really, really good. Matt Riddle is such a good wrestler. Like, people want to give him shit, whatever. but he's a legit fighter and he's a really good wrestler. And I think he could like tag team with, I don't know, let's go Kenny Omega vibes, a freaking blow up doll and make it look good. Like,
Right. It was I actually went back recently and rewatched the seventh season of The Ultimate Fighter, which he was a contestant on, and
oh,
it's so funny watching him, like this first appearance like on camera and stuff. He goes out there and just brutally knocks out the dude he's fighting. I mean, just
ah,
out. And it's so funny, like hearing, because I mean, I knew about him back then, and then I became like really familiar when he was actually fighting in the UFC. Because he doesn't win the Ultimate Fighter reality show, but he winds up getting a contract after the fact because of how impressive he was during the show. And,
damn.
but yeah, it was really fun going back and watching that. I also saw somebody in the chat said something random, but I like the comment. I love heel turns. You guys remember Steve McMichael joined the Four Horsemen? Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Mongo McMichael. He was like the most out of place person in a stable ever. It didn't make any sense. He was a former football player, played for the Chicago Bears, and then
Like Roger Goodell joined the Four Horsemen.
he was like a commentator for WCW, and his gimmick was that he would always have like a little dog with him. It was so strange. And then
Kind of like X-Pac now.
kind of, yeah. Plus, I always have that dog strapped on him,
His
like,
service dog.
yeah. He always got his little tongue out. Um, but yeah, Mongo. It didn't make any sense because it was like Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, and then Steve Mongo McMichael. Like,
It's like, what? Okay, work, whatever.
yeah. And like throughout that time they would like add in members that would either like turn on them or didn't pan out, or like along with that you had like Kurt Hennig, who's like one of the best like
Yeah.
workers ever. You had JJ Dillon as their manager at one point. You had like all these people, and Steve Mongo McMichael was. I mean, he couldn't wrestle for shit either. Like he just always do like the 3-point stance type stuff, where
Yeah.
he was playing football and like shoulder block people and stuff. Um,
Oops.
Raven Style says, and Teddy Hart with his cat. Yeah,
Aw.
kind of a similar scenario. I'm pretty sure Teddy Hart's like on his way back to jail if he's not already like
Are
that
you
guy.
for real?
Yeah, he's like just constantly. I don't want to like misquote or anything like that. Anybody or put out like false information, but I think he's gotten in trouble again for something. Everything I remember.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, he's the biggest. He's the biggest what if question in wrestling history to me. Like,
Oh really?
yeah, he got signed to WWE when he was 18 years old. I mean, he was the youngest person ever signed to WWE when he was signed.
Wow.
And he was like, even back then, because this was like the kind of like during like the infancy of the internet. This probably happened in like 1998 to like 2000, somewhere in that boat.
Yeah, that's what I was watching.
And I remember like on the internet, even like the message boards and like anywhere that you could find any kind of wrestling information back then, there was always so much hype for Teddy Hart. It was like this guy's like the second coming of like he's gonna change wrestling. The things this guy's doing in the ring no one's ever seen before. Basically, like, and he said it himself. Like Ricochet wound up kind of taking it to the next level with what.
Yeah.
Because Ricochet was doing double moonsaults and stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but Teddy Hart like kind of set the foundation for
Yeah.
what Ricochet started eventually kind of doing on the indies especially. And I remember Teddy Hart doing like moonsaults and stuff off cages and stuff and like Ring of Honor. And this guy, anyway, he was I mean, trained in the dungeon. He's like actually related to Bret Hart and was like,
Yeah.
and he just never has been able to keep it together. Like, got fired from WWE super young. He had falling outs with people, and I mean, him and CM Punk apparently had like a big falling out in like Ring of Honor and stuff.
Damn.
Oh, apparently CM Punk had fallings out with. I mean, he had a big.
Eee.
I think him and AJ Styles like never, still to this day, probably don't talk and get along and stuff. Punk's a motherfucker. Like, if CM
Yeah.
Punk like you're fucked. Like, you're never gonna.
Yeah, I've heard stories. Won't talk about
Yeah.
them publicly, but I've heard stories.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. CM Punk, he just is what he is. You know, like I
The punk.
don't love him. I don't hate him. Like,
He's there.
he's just there. Like, I don't really have much of an opinion of him as a person. It's so polarizing because, like, on one side you have this guy where like you're pulling for him because, like, fuck the system and
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But on the other side, it's also kind of like what's up with you, like, in Cole Cabana, like suing each other in court and stuff, and like it's fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
There's
the
a
full
lot we don't know. I feel there's a lot we don't know.
right, but and I'm just kind of speculating, but that whole thing just seems so weird to me. Where it was like, okay, you went on this guy's podcast who has, like, in comparison to you, like, I mean, people know Cole Cabana in the independent wrestling scene. He's been around forever, but in comparison to, like, CM Punk's like a legit celebrity, like, level kind of guy,
Yeah.
and Cole
Legit.
Cabana is like
Big name.
much lower on that totem pole, like basically
Mhm.
in comparison to CM Punk, to, like, the general public.
Yeah.
On this guy's podcast, say a bunch of stuff about the WWE that they do not want you talking about, and kind of drag him into this situation with you, because Cole Cabana wasn't working for the WWE at the time.
Oh, I don't
He
know
got
what
that-
happened there.
No, he worked there with Scotty Goldman for like a month and got canned. So, like, he wasn't around. So you kind of, like, pull this guy into the whole situation. You guys fight the WWE. You guys win against the WWE.
Right. That's unheard of.
Right. But because it costs so much money, like, Cabana couldn't afford all, like, from the way I understand it, Cabana couldn't afford all, like, the fees it took to fight the battle, and
Expensive.
I think that's where the issues lie, is, like, Punk, I think, and from the outside looking in, for me, I'm thinking, like, CM Punk has so much money, like, I can't imagine it being a problem to, like, take kind of a hit. Like, you brought this guy into the situation, you have way more money than this guy does, and, like, he's been your friend since you broke into wrestling, like, 20 years ago. Like, how do you not figure this out to where, like, you guys stay friends and figure things out? Like, you guys wind up going to court against each other, like, and that might not all be on CM Punk. Like, for all I know, Cole Cabana was, like, a giant issue with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And, like, he's not even, like, allowed to mention his name anymore, or, like,
Yeah.
it was just, like,
It's
weird. Like, I don't know if maybe, like, it was speculated that maybe it was Cole Cabana, like, his fault that all of this happened. Like, I don't know. It was very bizarre, very strange. I wish them both the best. I mean, I'd like to see them be, like, friends again, because it's like I don't like to see people be mad at each other. It feels like they kind of, I don't like to see falling apart, Like, that makes me really sad, especially when it's, I guess, as like a human, you want to know. You try and find the reason and the logic and everything, which is why we're all so damn nosy. It's just human nature. We want answers. We want to know why. And it's like that whole situation is just so bizarre, so weird. It's like no one wants to talk about it. And if they do, it's like purely speculation. They don't talk about each other. They can't. Like, I remember when I was at StarCast 3 in Chicago, I was at the Colt Cabana podcast taping thing, and the name CM Punk was dropped by someone else, and it was like the whole room went, like, it was like a big deal. So it's just, it's strange.
It is.
I don't know. People are asking when we started watching wrestling. Why don't you answer first?
I guess I'll preface by saying I turned 32 next month, so that'll put a little perspective on, like, I was born in 1988, so I started watching wrestling, like, from what I can remember, when I started, like, getting invested into wrestling, like, I'm sure I'd seen it before, but, like, when I started getting actually, like, invested into it to where I was like, I'm watching this every chance I get from now on, was, I think it was 1994, so I would have been, what, 8? No.
5.
88,
5, 6.
1993, 94. Yeah, I was probably 6 or so years old.
Yeah.
So like, um, the first storyline I really remember getting attached to, I think I've talked about it on here before, was the Dungeon of Doom versus Hulk Hogan in WCW, which
Mhm.
at the time I didn't know that the Dungeon of Doom was just like a bunch of WWF rejects because I didn't watch the WWF at the time. I was from Atlanta, like a WCW. So like I didn't know that, but what like I think when I started really getting attached was like the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan, who's become way more infamous like recently because of the Nancy Benoit and all that kind of stuff. Like he he was the biggest villain in the world to me. Like I saw him and I was like, oh my god, this is like the most evil guy I've ever seen on television. And like he was out there putting people in the tree of woe in the corner, upside down, and ramming his knee into him and stuff. And I was like, this guy is evil. I gotta see this guy get taken down. Then not long after, the Giant debuted in that stable, who's now
Yeah.
Big Show. And I was
Yeah.
and I'm over here like, whoa, like this is humongous. How is Hulk Hogan ever gonna stop this guy? And then the Giant beat him for the title in his first match, and I'm like, oh my god, there's no
Ah.
be able to beat this guy. And that was like me, like, and I never looked back. Like Randy Savage is the one who like really hooked me. Like he was the one who I saw when I was like Hulk Hogan was really cool, but I always thought Randy Savage was better. Like I always had like that chip on my shoulder, like Randy Savage should be the champion. Like every time Hulk Hogan wrestled Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan like really pissed me off. So anyway, that was so I've been following it closely since then. And then of course got into like ECW and WWF and everything along the way in the '90s and stuff. But what about you?
I started watching, I think, in like 1998. My cousin, who was 5 years older than me, he was really, really, really into WWF at the time. Like really, really into it. It was Team WWF all the way. Um, and he visited one time for spring break because they always used to come down from Ohio and visit for spring break. And he was watching, and I was like, I really like this. And it was like around like I was really into DX. And then I remember like in '99, I think when China won the Intercontinental Championship, like as a girl, I thought that was really cool. And so I watched for a really long time. I was also a gymnast at the time. I was doing training early in the morning and in the afternoons after school. So like on Mondays and stuff, I would go home and watch it for a little bit, but I would be super busy. So didn't really watch too much. I kind of then I started also doing springboard and platform diving and synchronized swimming along with competitive gymnastics, and I quit competitive gymnastics and went to like springboard diving and synchronized swimming exclusively, which was a lot later in the day. So I kind of like stopped watching around 2001. And then in 2014, that's when I went totally balls to the wall. Completely like we had my husband and I, our anniversary is tomorrow, by the way.
Oh,
Our
happy
wedding
anniversary!
Thank you. I thought it was today. I thought today was the 26th. I woke up and I gave him a big hug, and he's like, honey, it's the 25th. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? I was trying to be all cute. But anyway, yeah, so we were, before, when we first moved in together in like 2011, we didn't have cable. So we finally got one of those digital antennas, and it was like right before SummerSlam. And so I kept saying SummerSlam every time they would say it, and it was like a joke because we finally got to watch something. And then my husband was like, I don't know if I watch. I was like, no, make sure you turn on wrestling. Keep turning on wrestling. Like, I got really into it. And I've been balls to the wall ever since. It was right when, like, CM Punk was leaving. Like, right around that time. Like, I don't ever claim to be, like, a super loyal wrestling fan. I've just been really, really into it since, like, 2014. And obviously I've gone back and kind of gone through the history. It says I'm echoing again.
Yeah,
But
I hit the button. Hopefully it fixed it.
okay. Yeah, so I kind of wish I would have gotten into it like more balls to the wall at a younger age so I could like have maybe trained to be a wrestler since I was in gymnastics and stuff like that. That would have been pretty cool, but I mean, it is what it is. And now I'm here and because I've usually like a lot of people that like a lot of people don't know this. Before I got into wrestling, like I've always been football, 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 football. That's been my life. Like I bleed scarlet and gray. Those are my freaking colors. That's my team. I get way too emotionally invested into Ohio State football. So wrestling has kind of, I get really into sports. It's kind of been like that because I don't really like drama TV shows, you know?
Same. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the way I can watch like episodic television without it being just completely cringe. I mean, it's pretty cringe, but it at least it feels like a sport kind of. It's kind of like that perfect combination of like sport world and reality television and drama, soap opera crap, you know, like
Yeah.
it's without it being, whatever. And then I saw how like passionate people were getting about it still. And I thought it was really cool. And then, I started doing like the whole wrestling Twitter thing. Because my husband would go to bed super early because he gets up super early to go to work. Not right now, and I was like, man, this is, and it made me feel like less alone. That sounds so sad, but it's so true. Like the whole internet wrestling community kind of gave me a sense of belonging, and it's always been pretty cool. And I think it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Like even with because like there's people, especially in the MMA world, there's a lot of overlap. Like there's a lot of people who who really love pro wrestling as much as they love MMA. Some of them even more. But there's also a lot of people that they hate professional wrestling. They're working in MMA. They love MMA, but they see professional wrestling as like this, something that's like phony and like basically. And to a degree, they're right in some is where like it's kind of like playing tough guy, like where like a great example is like this upcoming episode of Dark Side of the Ring. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head for some reason, but the slap where they're gonna do.
Yeah, the interview reporter stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I think. There's a lot of people in like the MMA world that would point to something like that and be like, the reason I don't like pro wrestling is because people act like this guy, where it's like they're fake fighting, but like that serious about it that they'd attack someone for asking the question, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I always defend wrestling to those people, because I've had this kind of conversation a trillion times with these people, I always tell them, I'm like, regardless of like what your feelings of wrestling is, like for me, I know me personally. Like it was totally an escape for me as a kid. Like my mom was sick with cancer. Like I had other stuff going on in my family. Like there was like all this like tragedy and shit like going on in my family when I was growing up. And like I had a great upbringing as far as like I had a loving family and like we were well off monetarily and stuff like that. But like there was like all these uncontrollable things that were happening at the same time, and like the one thing I would always look forward to is Monday nights to watch Nitro and Raw. Like that was like I would have the one that was back then before like the multiple screens and stuff. And one of my TVs I remember being a big deal when we got a new TV and it had the picture in picture, so I could watch like a small screen of Raw.
Oh yeah,
Nitro on the
like
bigger
cool
screen.
feature.
Remember that being like a huge deal at the time and stuff like that, because otherwise you had to just flip back and forth. And I say this all because it was like, I don't, even if because like I love independent wrestling, like at this point, like that's really what gets me going is like is seeing like the people busting their ass, like trying to make it to the next level. That's what I really enjoy.
That's where the true art form and creativity comes out, I feel.
Right, exactly. And that's why I like companies like AEW so much, because they don't like suppress all that. They kind of like just give you a bigger stage to do it, whereas the WWE kind of like kills your momentum and then tries to like rebuild you in their image. And I bring all this up because it's one of these things where it's like, as much as I might dislike the current WWE product for a lot of different reasons, I want professional wrestling to be around because there's generations of kids after me that like they need this too. Like there's so much, even times like this and stuff, like there's so much bad shit that can happen to you in life. Like it happens to all of us. Like we all have bad shit that's gonna happen. It's inevitable. But like if there are kids out there that can be helped by being a wrestling fan and having like that wrestling community. Because even back then, like I always had like friends, but not many of them were ever into wrestling. And most of the time, I just get made fun of for liking wrestling. So I didn't even tell people I liked it a lot of the time until I got older. And like I'm like collecting like action figures of wrestlers in like high school. And be telling people this because I'm just gonna get straight up made fun of. So like but it's just one of those things where like the wrestling community was there. Like I was on message boards talking to other.
Yeah.
When YouTube came around, it was really cool to see people on camera talking about their thoughts as a fan. Then when podcasts came around and all that stuff, so if for no other reason, like it's a great escape for people to like just enjoy something and be, I've probably talked about it on this podcast as well, but I compare, and I don't mean this as like a diss to make fun of wrestling fans, because I'm a wrestling fan, obviously, and
Yeah.
it goes along with my point, where if you remember the movie Heavyweights from back in the day, when Gerald Gardner, the main character, he's on the airplane and he's heading to Fat Camp, and Keenan Thompson, I can't remember, I think his name was Roy in the movie. He walks up to him and he's like, hey, you going to Fat Camp? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, no, man, like it's cool, like I'm going to Fat Camp too. And he's like, no, like, he's like, man, and like the line that gets me though, he's like, you're gonna love it. Like at Fat Camp, like you're not the fat kid, we're all the fat kid.
Oh,
So
so
you're,
sweet.
and that's how I feel about wrestling fans. Like, no matter who you are, what you look like, what your sexual orientation is, what you identify as, like whatever it is, if you're a wrestling fan, you're the same as the person next to you. Like if you're at a show,
Right.
you know what I mean, we're all wrestling fans. We all like this strange art form for whatever reason. So it's just one of those things where like even if I continually dislike what WWE is doing, I still hope for their success because there's kids out there growing up that need that community, and without the WWE, that community is way smaller. So
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the instant I find out like somebody I'm talking to is a wrestling fan, it's like an instant connection. It's like then you can start like it feels like you're like talking in a foreign language then because you just start discussing stuff and like stuff that makes like sense to nobody. Like, oh, do you think they're gonna turn heel? Oh, I don't know. They gotta
right.
keep kayfabe. Like they're breaking kayfabe and blah blah blah. You just like start using all these wrestling terms and like I don't know. It's really cool. It instantly becomes a connection with somebody, like on another level, and it instantly gives you like a sense of a relationship with somebody, like a friendship, something that you have in common. I can't tell you how many like friends I have that have such like differing opinions than me on like any other thing other than wrestling, but the wrestling brings us together. And it's amazing. Like it's really incredible how many different types of people there are in the community, but we all come together just because we love it. And I think that that's kind of the coolest thing about professional wrestling, and that is why I want WWE to do well. I want AEW to do well. I want like GCW to do well. I want Impact to do well. I want NWA to do well. I want all of these smaller promotions to do well as well. You want to see the scene flourish, the indie scene flourish, because I think it's such an important thing and it's such a great escape for a kid who's going through a lot of bad things in their life, a lot of traumatic things. It allows you to sit back and like just escape from that reality for a moment for something fun. And I think it's such a great thing, and I think it's so important. And I don't think that it's a bad thing. Yeah, there's a lot of things they do that piss us off, and we can kind of get lost in that. We can kind of get lost in the little things and the storylines and t-shirts for referees for some reason, and we can get mad about that. And but then at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, we're all coming together, we're discussing something other than, I don't know, this giant pandemic that we're in. We're
Yeah.
discussing something other than like politics, which is incredibly divisive and horrible. We're talking about things other than like tragedies and sadness and just the personal shit we're all dealing with. We all come together to enjoy something and talk about something that we all are talking about because we love it.
Yeah.
That was so
Sure.
wholesome.
Yeah. Well, and I'll even say like it's kind of weird to say this out loud. Sounds like it might be coming from the wrong place. It isn't, but like not most, but like I've made so many friends through wrestling, like strictly through wrestling, that like I
Yeah,
don't know
me
for
too.
any other reason other than wrestling. That
I wouldn't know who the hell you were without it.
right, but I'm saying like that look some of these people look completely different than me. They're people from backgrounds that I would never know otherwise. Straight up, like different parts of the world, different parts of the United States, obviously. like going to shows and just meeting people and being like, man, I'm so glad I've met that person. Like I've made a new friend. This is someone who I would have. There is no other scenario in the world where we would have been in the same room together doing anything else, unless we
Right.
both like pro wrestling. Like it's
It's
amazing.
so cool. It's so amazing and incredible. Like, you know, I go back to Starcast so much because that was like such a monumental moment for like me personally. Like being able to go out there and have the confidence to go out to like Las Vegas, Nevada by myself and like have fun and not die was really cool. But it was like I met people from all over the world and it didn't matter. It was just kind of cool. I met people from all over the country, different shapes, sizes, sexes, orientations, political views, just like literally completely someone that's the complete opposite of me. But you know what? I didn't care. I'm like, hell yeah, you like wrestling too? That's awesome. It's like all that kind of stuff, like just it doesn't like it really doesn't like matter. You know, it's like we all are in this together. Like I know it sounds like kind of cheesy, but it's like these people that are incredible, amazing people that are so different from me, like there's no other way I would have ever met them, you know? There's no other way I would have ever come across them in my life because they don't have any other similarities to me other than wrestling, but you know what? They've become like one of my best friends. They've become like someone I really love and appreciate. And it's so incredible. I think it's like, especially right now, I feel like wrestling, Twitter, and like the internet wrestling community is going a little whack. I think we're all going a little stir crazy and just things are happening. People are really divisive over very, very small things. I know I saw Ryan Satin and Dave Meltzer going at it. Like, God, that just I'm like, okay, Ryan Satin needs to chill. Like, Dave Meltzer needs to chill too, whatever. But it's like, I feel like Ryan Satin is like instigating all these like petty arguments. Like, he just keeps getting into petty ass arguments.
Well, you
It's
know
like,
he's from
chill.
he's from TMZ. People forget that. Like he's a
Yeah.
guy, and he still is. Like, he doesn't work
And
at TMZ anymore, but he's
Mr.
the
Fox.
same
But,
type of.
and that's no disrespect to him. That's me saying that because I appreciate him. Like, I just think we need to like take a step back and remember why we're here. Like, let's
Yeah.
appreciate like what we all have in common. That's we all have in like together. Like it's just like okay, like even like the whole like there's some people who don't like that Ref Aubrey has a shirt.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't have a problem with it. There's a fucking ceiling fan at the performance center that has a shirt. The Mrs. Dad has a shirt. Who
Right.
cares? It's a shirt. Like, sure, if you want to debate about it and talk about it and discuss it, go ahead. If that's something that is a conversation that you want to have and it's a discussion that you think is educational to you or beneficial to you, go for it. But don't be insulting people for their opinions on a fucking shirt. It's a shirt. It's not going to love you. It's not going to talk back to you. It's not going to give you warm hugs at night. It's going to keep you from showing off your titties and it's going to be comfortable and hopefully keep you warm. I don't know, and be a statement piece. I don't know. It's not that fucking deep, guys. It's a fucking shirt. Let's step back for a second and just be like, hey, I like wrestling too. I'm just thankful to be having this conversation that's not about a pandemic or about politics or about people being shitty.
Well, and
I don't
also
know.
you have to go out of your way to buy a shirt like that too. It's not like this is being forced on you. Like it's like Aubrey Edwards. Like that's her name, right? Aubrey Edwards.
Yes.
She she's a fantastic referee, by the way. She 1,000,000% deserves like the credit she's getting. Apparently, Chris Jericho that's like his like
Loves her. She was the ref for the AEW championship. He picked
yeah.
her out.
And she's been the ref for a lot of his big matches in AEW. Like
I think she's great.
she is, and I mean, why wouldn't she deserve a shirt? I mean, she's also like
Yeah.
their podcast and stuff. Like, why not? Like, who cares? Sure. Hopefully, it makes her more money. Like, I'm all about it. Um, yeah, and also I want to mention like Ryan Satin. Ryan Satin does really good work as far as like he's a credible source for WWE news. He doesn't put out a whole bunch of bullshit, but he knows what he's doing. Like it isn't like Dave Meltzer's the same way. and I'm a fan of both guys just for what it's worth. Like just because one of my best friends works for or I shouldn't say best friends, but a guy that I know very very well, who I do consider a good friend. I've known him a long time. He works for TMZ, so like I'm not, and he currently works for TMZ. And there's a lot of very clickbaity things that they do, and a lot of very controversial things that they do, and they know what they're doing. These people are basically professional. Basically, I don't even know what to call them. They're people who their job is to go
Instigators.
viral with news. Try to get
Professional instigators.
yeah. But Meltzer's the same type of way, and I love Dave Meltzer. They all know what they're doing. Like even to an extent, someone like Sean Ross Sapp, who like I consider a friend. I work for him for Fightful. Like he's not like instigating people, but like you know what I'm saying. It's like everyone has kind of their voice out there in like the wrestling world, and everybody does know what they're doing. Like, and there's a lot of trolls in the wrestling world also.
Yeah.
So it's really really easy to do. Like if you're Ryan Satin and you know that you can tweet something that's like not even really controversial, but like it's something that's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
You wind up getting a trillion comments, and like 80% of them are just going to be fucking trolls that are just like their opinion doesn't matter anyways, but it keeps the conversation going, it keeps their name out there, it gets them whatever they're saying trending. Like they know what they're doing. Like it isn't, these aren't stupid people just putting.
No, this is their job. You guys got to remember, it's their job to get engagement. And I don't really want to, I'm not, and I like Ryan Satin too. I really appreciate his work. I think he does a lot of great work. Because I respect him so much, I really wish he would back off that shit because it looks really petty. And like, you're right though. You're right. It is for clicks, it's for views, it's for engagement, it's for notoriety. But it's like, come on, Dave Meltzer gets finicky. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I wouldn't mess with either of them. I mean,
Oh no.
I wouldn't because, well, they're better at me than me at their jobs because they got jobs and I don't, But like, it's just so stupid, like, to roll with like I feel like when Ryan Satin rolled with like a clip taken completely out of context on Wrestling Observer Live that like some random ass person commented to him, like why? Like that's just feeding into it, and I'm trying my hardest to like not feed into like the trolls and stuff like that. I make mistakes because sometimes I'm like, damn, this really sucks. I need support and I shouldn't give it attention, but sometimes I do. But it's like kind of like that shit. Like you have to, I don't know what I'm getting at. I just wish that he would fucking chill, and both Dave Meltzer and him would just fucking let it go. Like it's not like, what do you have against Figure 4 and Wrestling Observer, Ryan?
Well, John McDonald says, I have to say Ryan is chasing for a job. Well, he kind of already has one, right?
He's got a good gig.
Yeah, with Fox, but
And his PW Pro Wrestling Stream, is it? Pro Wrestling Sheet.
Well, yeah, Pro Wrestling Sheet. But and it's a good website, and their news is credible and stuff like that. And but yeah, I mean, but there's nothing really wrong with that either. Like Sam Roberts, he gets a lot of shit from a lot of fans. I think that Sam Roberts is phenomenal. He's probably my favorite on-screen personality for the WWE, like of anybody, like as non-wrestlers. I love Sam Roberts. And
he started that, didn't he? Start the Lonely.
Started Lonely Virgil, yeah.
Yeah.
But he had a pro wrestling podcast before pro wrestling podcasts were cool, and interviews with
He was a game changer.
Yeah, incredible. And I'm a fan of his even back when he was a producer for the Opie and Anthony radio show and stuff.
Yes. I remember that.
I think he's an incredible personality. I still watch his live streams that he does from his basement and stuff, from the Sam Studios and his house and all. Like, I'm a big fan. But the reason that I say all this is because, like, he did the same thing, kind of like Ryan Satin to an extent, where he was a neutral third party personality, and then he got a job with the WWE, and a lot of people turned on him because of that, because they're like,
which is
sellout or but really it isn't. Like if you get, like, I don't know if I'd accept a job from the WWE or even the UFC right now. I really enjoy being a non-biased third party source for MMA on point. Like the way those guys treat me is great. So it's like I have no reason to want to work for the UFC. But it'd be a hard no. You know, I mean, if the WWE called and I'm a lifelong fan, it's like if I'm Sam Roberts or I'm Ryan,
Why are people mad at him for like living his dream?
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah, exactly.
ridiculous.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, so I get it, but he also there is a level to it for Satin and not Sam and any of these people that or Sam Roberts, for any of these people, there is that line though, like for sure of like being like a company shill versus like the fan you used to be, like the fan that made you popular to begin with. Now you kind of have to cater to, you know, there's certain
Hmm.
you gotta play the game and work within the system of what the WWE is gonna let you do and say and stuff. So
Yeah, it's strange. I gotta get going here soon because my daughter wants to FaceTime with me. She's over at her Mimi and Papa's.
nice. Well, yeah, we can start to wrap this up.
Yeah.
If anyone has like a last minute super chat or anything you want said, any statement, comment, or question before we get out of here, that's what you want to do. Send a super chat.
Yeah.
Make sure to get to that before we leave. I'll just go through the sponsors real quick while we're waiting on.
Sure.
Starting off with WrestleRumble.com. Jump on WrestleRumble.com right now. I'll go to their website so you can see what it looks like. So what do we got here? This is the new contest coming up soon. There's going to be a championship raffle, tag team championship raffle. That's the old school WWF World Tag Team titles. That's badass. So
Nice.
$10 per entry. They're always doing great contests for the big pay-per-views and stuff like that. So jump on WrestleRumble.com, follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble to stay up to date with all their contests. Also want to give a shout out to Heroes and Legends. They are a professional wrestling memorabilia company. Speaking of all this stuff,
Yeah.
there's there's one of the walls in my office here. That NXT title belt was from Wrestle Rumble, so the company I was just talking about actually won that belt from Wrestle Rumble in one of their contests. Some of the figures you see on my shelf there were from Heroes and Legends. There are amazing things that you can get over there. They have DVDs, autographed memorabilia, action figures, you know, old programs, everything. They're nice people. They give you a fair deal. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at HL Pro Wrestling, and they do live streams too, where they basically auction their stuff live, and it's a lot of fun. They're doing I can't check their social media. They do some stuff that's like to a closed group, so like there's like a VIP level that I'm at where like not to brag
Oh.
thing, but like there are certain auctions that the public doesn't know about that I'm in on. So I don't know their next one if that's one of those or if it's like out to the public. But either way, follow them on social media to know what you can jump in on to buy some stuff from some nice people to give you fair business. And then last person I want to shout out is my my brother Brian Jensen. He is a professional boxing trainer. Does fitness and all that good stuff. He's a part owner of Steel Boxing in Atlanta, Georgia. This is his Instagram page. If you give him a follow, he can help you remotely even during the quarantine. I keep playing the same video, but
I know. I love it so much.
this is him working with the Parkinson's Foundation to help out some people who are stuck quarantined, and obviously you can see him in the corner. He's doing the moves. They're looking at their
Yes.
along. So yeah, follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL. That's BoxingATL. Gonna knock out workout without getting knocked out. Hit up Brian Jensen right now. And what do you got?
Make sure you follow me on Twitter. The handle's below. Jessie the Buckeye, JSSITHEBUCKEYE. I also do have an OnlyFans. That's the best way to get in contact with me and message me. After I FaceTime with my daughter, obviously I will be on there answering all of my DMs that I have. I think I have like 27 or 28. Sorry. I will get to you guys. I've been spending all morning preparing for this. So make sure you check that out. I have lots of really fun, exclusive content over there that's not on Twitter. So it's onlyfans.com/Jessie the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. I also do have a Papa John's pizza code. If you want 25% off your entire online order, use the code JESSI25. So that's JESSI25. Papa bless. Order you some sody pops and a pizza pie. Be a part of that Vape Nation. Be a part of that Papa. Papa Bo's in
Might
the
have to pull that
house.
up.
Click of the mouse, and Papa's in the house. Yes, we work. We do it.
Here we go.
Such. Yes, there
Love
it
that picture.
is. Better goofs, better memes. Papa bless. Love it. Yes, that's all I have. Um, I didn't hear it. And someone said, "Do you hear about the All Japan Pro Wrestling?" I'm assuming trying to take the WWE tag titles. No, I never heard
No,
that.
I hadn't heard about that. I do remember years ago a situation like that with Brock Lesnar and the IWGP Heavyweight title.
Ooh,
He was the champion, and to make a long story short, he never lost the title because he never
defended it.
yeah, he won it, and then he might have eventually, I think he eventually lost it to Kurt Angle, but by then Angle was carrying a different version of the title, if I remember correctly. It was
Huh.
a weird situation. It was some weird situation where Brock was the champion, and then they couldn't come to terms with him or something, so he basically held the belt hostage, and they had to create a new heavyweight championship, and then
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's Brock. It's Brock for it.
I bet he like uses it to like dry his fresh beef jerky or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Hangs his meat on it.
You saw the way
I
that
don't know.
he saw the way that he tosses the WWE title when he
Yeah. It's great.
so,
Oh.
yeah, they had like
Anyways.
3 different titles. Yeah, Ravens. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank y'all for joining the chat again today. A lot of fun. I know we missed a lot in the chat. We say that all the time, but that's why the super chats are so important. That way, we make
Yeah.
are diving deep on those questions and statements and comments and stuff like that. If you aren't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. That way, you'll know when we're going live, and also make sure you are following our Twitters because we always try to. It's always kind of a last minute thing when we go live, so. That's the best way to know is subscribing to YouTube and following both of us on Twitter because we're always putting out links and updates on like when we're planning on streaming. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thank you all very much for joining us. You have any closing thoughts, Jessi?
Thank you everyone for the likes, the subscribing, the super chat. Thank you, Corey. Really appreciate everyone in the chat being super cool, asking some fun questions. Sorry we didn't get to all of them, and just thank you guys so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it.
Yep. See y'all later.
Bye.